guys, and welcome to part 1 of 3 of my cereal box junk journal mini series. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I created this junk journal cover for my fall journal using a cereal box. Part 2, I'm going to be showing you guys how I put together the signatures, and then part 3, I'm going to be showing you guys how I bind the signatures into the journal. So if you're interested in seeing how I created this, then just keep watching. So to start, you're just going to need a cereal box or a piece of kind of cereal box material like cardboard or chipboard. And this cereal box is just a regular size. It's not like the family size where the sides are usually a little bit wider. This, I think, has 1 3/4 inches of a side. Yeah, so we're just going to use this as our spine to the junk journal. And you can make it as big as you want, but for this journal, I think I'm going to be doing it 6 by 9 with a 1 3/4 inch spine, if that makes sense. So to start, I'm just going to kind of bust this guy open on the sides and on the bottom, trying to be careful, but just leaving this intact for the most part. You don't want to rip that in. There should be like a little, and you'll see it, a spot where you can kind of just rip it without, you shouldn't have to cut it open, is what I'm saying. Shouldn't have to cut it open at all. And don't worry about this side, we're going to cut that off. We just want this spine nice and intact. So what I'm going to do is if you have scissors or if you have one of these little fancy paper trimmers, you can use that. Scissors will work just fine. And you need some sort of ruler or measuring device. Somebody walked off with both of my rulers from my desk, so I'm left using my husband's tape measure. So you can start off, we're going to just start off by trimming off the excess. So I want this to be 6 by 9. So what I'm going to do is put my little tape measure at the top, and this is a lot harder to do because I don't have a ruler. So I want, when I put my signatures in, I don't want them to like be poking out. So I'm actually going to make this journal at 9 1/4 long. So I'm just going to do this. You can't really see. So that's about 9 1/4. It's really hard to do it like this. 9 1/4. So then I'm going to just find something straight and pretty much just connect the dots here. Okay, so I have that. So I have my length, and now I'm going to do my width. So I'm going to measure 6 1/4 from this seam and then 6 1/4 from this seam. Okay, so now we have our journal measurements, so I'm just going to begin cutting. Okay, so now that I have basically my cover all measured and cut out, I think I'm going to use this scarf from the Dollar Tree and kind of make a cover out of it, and maybe even sew around it. And I think what I'm going to do first is cover the part that says Cheerios up, or I even may flip this around like this so that I just have to cover the inside with paper. Let me see. Let me see what that would look like. Okay, okay, yeah, that's good like that. I won't even have to do anything but put some paper down on the inside, but I just wanted fabric on the outside. So that's what I'll do, and I love it because this is my theme for fall, and this is a fall journal. I have a lot of the black and white buffalo check. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. I'm going to be using my Tombow glue. Now what I'm going to do is kind of the same. If you guys saw my, basically I made another junk journal on one of my videos. I'm doing the same process and kind of just cutting off around the edges, and I'm going to fold it over, kind of like the same way you did in school when you had to make your own book covers. It's pretty much the same thing. So you're just going to kind of cut a rough corner. And then you're gonna take your glue and just glue down the edges. And when you're working with fabric on your journal, if you can, sew it down just to reinforce it, because glue sometimes is a little bit harder for it to, you're gonna have to use a lot of glue to get the fabric to adhere. So yeah, use, if you have a sewing machine, use the sewing machine for this project. I mean, but if not, you can still make it work. You can always make it work. You're just gonna have to put in a little bit more effort and a lot more glue. We basically just want to glue this down far, like enough to where like it's not gonna snag on the sewing machine, and it's a little bit easier for the sewing machine to work around, if that makes sense. So that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it over to my sewing machine real quick, and I'm gonna sew this up around the edges. Okay, so now I am finished sewing. So here is the outside, and I kind of just did like a double border. So I did like a zigzag border and then just a straight border. And I like how it turned out. You guys, I don't know how to sew. I have just been teaching myself over the past couple of months. I inherited a sewing machine from a friend, and I'm teaching myself how to use it. So what I love about junk journaling is it's not supposed to be perfect. It's actually the more messier the better, in my opinion, the cooler it looks and just more rustic. So, and I love leaving like the little tails of string behind. I actually don't know how to finish off a line or a sew yet, so I kind of just like leave it dangling. But on the inside, you can see my fabulous sewing. So I'm going to actually cover the inside with some scrapbooking paper. I have a couple that I've went through my stash and I found just some loose papers that I think I might want to end up using for the inside. And then I recently picked up this really cute paper pad from Michaels. I love this. I actually think I want to use this one on the cover somehow, but I really want to use up some of this paper. I love the little foxes, and oh my gosh, you guys, these are so cute. I think I definitely want to use that one on my cover. So let's see. Oh, those mushrooms are cute too. Let me cue some music while I figure out what I want to do. Okay, you guys, so I'm just gonna go with these for the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and use them up so I can just kind of keep them from hanging around in my stash. And I think I'm gonna definitely use this one. Oops. I think I'm gonna definitely use this one on the cover. It's just so cute. Oh, you know what? I didn't take into consideration that this part right here. Okay. Wow. Let's try that again. Okay. So we're just gonna do at the top of his head right here. That's what we're gonna do. And his little ears. Sorry, guy. Okay, much, much better. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna glue this down and I'm gonna just reinforce it by sewing it in. And I'm not even sure if I'm gonna do this because this is pretty much gonna be covered up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna glue this in and then I'm going to sew in the edges. Okay, so now that I have everything sewn in, and I love how it looks. I mean, it's not the best sewing job, but I love how it turned out. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna make a closure for this. So I'm gonna be using some of this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And how much do I don't have a lot left. And what I'm going to be doing is placing it inside, and normally I would just use my Tombow glue and glue it in, and I'd actually glue it in before I put this down, but I'm actually going to be covering this part up with envelopes right here, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna actually sew this in just to make it extra durable instead of gluing in, but you can definitely glue it. And then when I'm done with that, I think what I'm going to do is take this is that scrapbooking paper. I think I'm going to take this and maybe like an index card, maybe kind of like layer it with this like little leaf that I made with my Cricut. So I don't know, I might do something like that, we'll see. So let me go sew this in real quick, and I'm actually sewing it with the printed side down. That way when I close it, you can see like the little leaves on it, if that makes sense. Okay, so all I did was I added a pocket by just sewing around the edges right here to make a little pocket. And then you guys look at all of this. This is crazy. But you know what? I think I don't know, I think I might take like a button and maybe put it on top just to hide some of this. And I actually like the way it looks, so I'm going to leave some like little danglies out. So this is all sewed in right here. So now I'm just going to work on decorating it. And that will be it for the cover, you guys. And then in the next episode, I'm going to show you guys how I put together signatures. And then the one after that, I am going to be binding them into the junk journal. All right, so I'm just gluing in these coffee dyed envelopes on top of that closure string to kind of hide it. And I actually chose to do this one right directly over that stitching from the front pocket on the cover. And I just thought it was a good way to hide that extra stitching. For the cover, I'm just using this coffee dyed index card and kind of playing around with some of these little cutouts that I made on my Cricut, and all of the cutouts in this video are free to Cricut Access members, so you can go ahead and cut those out on your machine. And I'm just playing around with it and kind of layering it, and then I end up gluing it down. I decided I wanted to add some buttons to the cover and kind of just roll up some of that extra thread behind the buttons. And when I was gluing on the buttons, I actually realized that I forgot to put on the corners first. So I end up using my little corner hardware by Tim Holtz, and I did pick those up at Michael's. And the corners are pretty easy to put on. You just use that same glue and you just kind of glue down the inside, and then you put them on the corner, and then using your fingers, it's very easy to bend the edges down. So I ended up using some of these Prima flowers that I got from a yard sale, and I think these are from Hobby Lobby. So I'm not sure if they're still available, but because I have no idea when the person bought them, but I decided to go with these kind of like taupe colored flowers because I just thought they went well with the buffalo check. And for the inside, I just used this really cute old vintage telephone cutout that I made with my Cricut, as well as this really cute 1950s woman holding a telephone. And I kind of just put her off to the side, and I actually decided to rip off the top of that envelope so that you could still access the pocket and she wouldn't be hidden. Alright guys, well that's it for the cover. Make sure you click the little bell to be notified when I upload part 2 and part 3. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you have an Instagram and are going to be making your own cereal box junk journals, I love to see what you guys create, so you can go ahead and tag me at cpandacrafts. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you here as part of my YouTube family. And until my next video, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.